Hi and welcome back to Yoga Berry. I'm Christine Berry. I'm a yoga teacher specializing in yoga for scoliosis. I also run a lovely Facebook group called Yoga for Scoliosis Community. Feel free to join us if you haven't done so already for more information, inspiration and motivation for yoga for scoliosis. So in today's video I will talk a little bit about pelvic asymmetry, which I've been asked about a few times now, so I thought it would be good to do a little video about this. And it's very, very common, especially for lumbar scoliosis. So if you imagine, if you have a lumbar scoliosis, it not only comes with a shift of the pelvis, so the pelvis might be shifted to one side or the other, one hip might be higher than the other, but it also comes with a rotation. So if you think about all that pressure that is going on into the sacroiliac joint, which is at the back of the sacrum, if there's a little bit of a shift one side up and down and rotation, this can put a lot of pressure into this area, and it often comes with back pain. So it's just very, very good to be aware of this. So for today's practice, we will need a bolster. You might need a blanket, but you might not. So we will see how it goes. And we are just, for today, we're just establishing if there is some sort of imbalance. And very often it has something to do with the hip flexors. So they might be tighter on one side than the other side. And a very easy way to test this out is if you come into child's pose. So just coming into a regular child's pose, taking the hips back onto the heels, and then have a little bit of space in between the knees, and then allowing for the forehead to rest, and then look back behind you, look back towards your feet, and you will see this kind of triangle shaped space that you're looking through, and just looking back at your crotch and just see if it's kind of dropping over to one side or the other. So what you're looking for is if this triangle that you're looking back at, if it's, it's more of a diamond shape, I guess, if it's even or if it's like shifted to one side or the other. So that's what we're looking out for. Chances are that it is slightly off center if there is some sort of asymmetry going on. And this has more something to do with rotation and imbalance in the muscles rather than just the hike up on one side or the other. Good. So the pose that we're going to try today is Supta Virasana. Don't do this if you have any knee issues. Just a little bit of a warning before we get started. And I've got the bolster behind me, and I'm also going to fold the blanket and also put it on there just for a little bit more comfort. And what we're going to do is we're going to bend one leg in like this, and then extending the other leg out on the ground. So this is a relatively strong pose for the knee. So again, if you have any knee issues or if you feel any pain in the knee, then don't do this. So first of all, we're just going to bring the bolster in as closely as possible, and then slowly start to bring the upper body back until you're lying on your back. And I like to fold this blanket over so my head is a little bit higher. This is just for a little bit more comfort. And this really gives a stretch to that, to the thigh, and also to that psoas muscle that attaches the upper body to the lower body. So we're going to stay in this for a few breaths, just allowing for the body to settle into this. So this should feel, yes, there will be a stretch in the lower body, but it should also not feel completely uncomfortable. So if it is, then we need to address this in a different way. And there's plenty of poses to practice if this doesn't work for you. So we're just allowing for all the muscles to adjust to where we are. And so we're not going to stay in it for that long. We're only staying in it for about a couple of minutes. Just enough time to maybe notice a little bit of a difference once we come out. So let's take another 3 long breaths. And then slowly bringing yourself up, so supporting yourself with your elbows. Lift the head first, and then slowly bringing yourself up. And we're coming straight back into child's pose with the knees wide. And I'm going to move my bolster to the side just so I can see a little bit more what's happening behind me. Knees a little bit wider. And again, we're looking back at that diamond shape when you're looking back. And just notice if anything has changed. So for me, I was relatively balanced when I started, but now it's taking me off center. So we're going to do the other side. So this takes a little bit of investigation. So you're going to have to try out which side it takes you, and then do a little bit more of the side that will keep you into center. Inhale, lifting the chest, and then slowly starting to bring yourself back. So we're keeping the bolster in and then lying back. And again, I'm folding this blanket under so you get a little bit more of a head support. Just make sure that your pelvis is relatively even. You might be dropping slightly over to the left side on this if there's a lot of tightness in the right side, which it is for me. So I have a left lumbar curve, and for me this is the side that I need to do a little bit more of, because this side is the one that is tighter in my body. So the hip flexors are a lot tighter than on the other side. So again, just allowing for the upper body to settle. And this is quite nice. It's quite a nice opening actually for the chest as well, so especially if you're working with a bolster. So you can see that my shoulders are just kind of dropping off on either side of the bolster, giving that little lift. Good. Maybe just closing your eyes for a few moments. Just marinating in the pose a little bit longer. And then it's slowly bringing yourself up, supporting yourself with your hands, coming all the way up, and again we're taking it into child's pose and moving this out of the way. Good, and this has taken me back to symmetry here, which is great. And in today's practice, I felt relatively centered to begin with, but sometimes when I get started, I feel really off center. So I do this, I come to child's pose, I check where I am, and then I just do a little bit more on that side. So for me, it is the right side that I need to stretch out in the front a little bit more. But please have a little bit of an investigation in your own body. So just notice a little bit what's going on, just being interested in that. Do let me know if you've got any questions. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you very soon for the next video.